We are back on a Monday night, everybody. Hope you're having a good night, good start to your work week. Sonya Thomas and John Little have joined us with Nashville PROPEL, that is parents requiring our public education system to lead. And I like that it doesn't say parents requesting, it says parents requiring.
Words matter.
On purpose.
Words matter. That's right. It's important. All right, let's talk more about what you're hearing and what you're seeing, as we continue to work to try to either get the laptops to kids who don't have them or get older laptops replaced with newer models, make sure that they've got the internet they need, because we know that this is going to continue into 2021, at least for a little while. Knock on wood, we hope, everyone's staying safe and wearing masks, social distancing, doing all the things we're told to do until a vaccine can be fully available. But what is next on your wish list as you have faced this pandemic, this grassroots group? What's next for you? How do you move forward?
So we are urgently asking our decision makers to make sure that all of our children are assessed, and not just assessed, but when you think about children not feeling well, or you're not feeling well yourself, Rhori, and you go to the doctor's office and you go there and you say, hey, I have this going on with me.
Right. They
don't just hand you a prescription. What they do is they assess you. They treat you and they put together this plan of care. And we're asking for the district to do the same thing for our children. Assess our children. Give them the MAP assessment. See where they are. Work with parents and grandparents to recover them. Right. So we're asking them to put in place an individualized learning plan for students to look at their strengths and their weaknesses, to focus on their strengths that are academic and non-academic, and be able to partner with parents to make sure that we get our children on reading level, based on the math level that they need to be on, and if they needed any wraparound services, also that could be included in that.
But that is not an easy task, these individualized assessments. That would add a lot of work for teachers, right? Are you getting any pushback?
Okay, so let's just think about this.
Okay.
What's happening now? We know what's not happening right now. Our children are not reading on grade level. So what we've been doing is not working. And so I think that we cannot approach this with thinking about what we can't do. What can we do? What are we already doing? There are some schools in the district who are already doing similar things. There are some cities in the state of Tennessee, such as Chattanooga, who are already doing a student success plan. Look, we've got to stop worrying about what we can't do. And what we got to do is look at what we can do, what we already have to do, and what we have to do. I think we can't wait any longer, and we can't make excuses when it comes to our children.
Let me add to that a little bit, Rhori. I think, years ago, the President Kennedy said we were going to fly to the moon. We didn't know how we were going to do it, but because he said it, we did it. But almost 100 years ago, here in Tennessee, we changed the world when we created the Manhattan Project and we created the atomic bomb. It was a bomb that, whether people agree or disagree, it changed the course of the world forever. And if we can create things like flying people to the moon, if we can create something that stops world wars, we can make sure our kids are reading on grade level.
Yeah, all right. Now I feel bad for even asking the question, Sonya. I'm trying to rain on your parade that's my job, though. I've got to ask. I've got to ask. How many people in your group, and how do you continue to reach out to get more parents involved? Is it door to door? Is it online? How does it work?
Oh, yeah.
John, hey, that's your bucket. Go ahead and give it to
You're the outreach director, John.
So in March, we were knocking on doors. The last community we knocked on, we were in Sudicum Project, which is connected to Napier Elementary. And since then, we've been in, and we had to have a real conversation with our work is about helping parents. And so how do we do that during a pandemic when we can't go out and knock on doors? And so shout out to the organizing team, Torvis and Shanka. We got this thing called Fishing, where we stroll the internet and look at parents who are talking about education issues, and we spark conversations. We have a parent advocate fellowship where we bring parents in and we train them. At PROPEL, we're not talking about school lunch. or the playground. We're talking about policies that would affect all kids, like Sonya said, an individual learning plan. And so you'll see us on social media, you will see us within our fellowship getting referrals from other parents, because we say when we have a good conversation with a parent, who else needs to hear this information? Who else do we need to be talking to? And parents are like going through their phone book and giving us names, and we're following up.
Yeah. And we had to alter the way that we organize, just like everybody else had to alter the way that they work. And let me tell you something, COVID-19 did not stop anything. Yeah. And I'm so proud of our team. We're meeting goals with our parents, and we're just doing a wonderful job meeting our parents where they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since the schools have opened back up, what is the feedback that you're getting from those parents whose kids are going back to traditional learning?
Yeah. So it looks like the pre-K through second goes back around the 12th. Yeah. I believe. And so what I've been hearing in the media is there was one school that has exceptional ed children who had to actually close because of COVID cases. So that is as much as I've heard about schools reopening in person.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to go back, because you mentioned the exceptional learners. The students with special needs were the first to be able to go back, and just this back to this article that the Education Commissioner was talking about, that the greater impact time outside of the classroom is having on students with disabilities, English language learners, students from economically disadvantaged households, and students who were already behind. And all superintendents agree. So, I mean, you've got a group there of just vulnerable kids, and a lot of these kids from these schools in economically disadvantaged areas are what you're talking about, and kids with disabilities as well.
Yeah, and I think that the important thing is that parents be able to make an informed choice. Yep. Informed choice. They need to know the plan. They need to know the ins and outs. When their children go into the school, what is going to happen from minute to minute in that school. And I think that parents should be able to make the best decision for their children. We know that this is, impacting us on all levels. And parents, if they're going to decide to send their children in person, they need to make an informed decision. We don't make decisions for parents, okay? People have been doing that for decades, and look where that's gotten us. And so we want to make sure that we train our parents, we help our parents to understand, who they need to talk to, the questions that they need to ask, so that they can make an informed decision for themselves and for their families.
That's a good point. You talk about the parent advocate training. I mean, I didn't even think of that a lot of parents may not even know where to start, who to talk to, number one, and what questions to ask. And I got to be honest, I mean, there are some really great administrators out there, principals and assistant principals, who run schools really well, but some of them just aren't the best communicators. And sometimes some are just better communicators than others when it comes to talking with families and talking to parents about their students, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some great schools around communication. I got to shout out Hunters Lane. I got to shout out Dr. Kessler, because she communicates well. And so what we talked about earlier was best practices. What we've got to do is duplicate those. The schools that are struggling with communications, those schools need to take the feedback from parents and look at the best practices around those. And those leaders who are doing a good job in their schools need to mentor the other principals and the other teachers in the school.
So we are approaching those dates as students slowly start to trickle back in Metro. How many parents, I mean, do you have an idea of how many plan to have signed up to say, yeah, we're going back, or how many have said we're going to keep them virtual at least till the end of the semester? Do you know? So
the district is reporting 46% of parents are wanting to stay virtual.
That was their parent survey?
That was through their parent survey. The majority of the parents that we represent, which are 61% traditional school parents, a lot of them are saying that they're going to remain virtual, and they want their children in school. Okay, they want them in school, but they don't feel as if it's safe, and they don't feel like that the plan has been communicated well enough for them to send their precious babies into those buildings.
It's tough too, because a lot of these parents, they're working 2 or 3 jobs, and they're not able to stand over the shoulder of their kids while they're learning virtually. So that's a hindrance as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these parents don't even know how to navigate computers. So when the kids got these computers, the parents were trying to learn how to navigate Schoology,
We did a story just recently on grandparents trying to learn that. All right, last word to you, John. We literally have 20 seconds to sell Nashville Propel.
Check us out. Parents requiring our public education system to lead. We want to make sure we're at the table. We want to make sure parents are educated about the system, engaged in the process, and empowered. It's not about Propel's power. It's about the parent power. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Nashville Propel.
Thank you both for spending the Monday night with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll wrap it up right after this.